President Biden just got sued as former President Donald Trump steamrolls him in the polls. The situation for the president is becoming bleak as he's trying everything that he can to try and convince the same people who voted for him back in 2020 to do the same thing this year. The problem is that many believe that he's created more problems than solutions. He promised to boost Social Security because millions of Americans depend on it. He failed there. He said that he would lower the cost of goods for those who are in the middle class. He failed there as well. And just when you thought he was done, he's now trying to make good on one of his promises. And that promise is to try and forgive student loans.
The White House unveiling a new plan to relieve student loan debt for millions of Americans. But will it stand up to legal tests from opponents who already defeated a previous Biden loan forgiveness program? Here's NBC's Tom Jensen.
It's a dark cloud of debt facing millions of college graduates and current students at universities and trade schools everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely adds up, like over 4 years.
These San Jose State University students are glad they have reasonable tuition rates at state schools, but they say the debt still stacks up.
Especially if like here, it's like around like, if you're living on campus, about like 10 grand a year. So after like 4 years, you got 40 grand of debt. Like,
just for your living expenses.
Just for living expenses. Yeah. That's without tuition.
Yeah, I think upwards of 50 to 100K, that's a pretty reasonable number.
The Supreme Court overturned prior debt relief for millions of student loan borrowers last year. The court ruled 6-3 that a White House proposal canceling up to $10,000 in debt was not legal. That sent legal and financial experts back to the drawing board.
We feel confident in the legal analysis.
White House National Economic Council Deputy Director John Donenberg says the Biden-Harris administration's new plans to forgive all debt for at least 4 million borrowers and partial debt of 23 million more people will survive any legal challenges.
We expect that more than 10 million of the borrowers who will get forgiveness here are going to get at least $5,000 in debt relief. And, you know, that's a pretty substantial amount of relief for families that are struggling month to month.
When finalized, the new plans would affect 5 different groups of borrowers with some relief. Those who owe more debt than their original loan amounts. Anyone who is already eligible for loan forgiveness but hasn't applied for it. Undergraduates who first started repaying 20 years ago or longer, and graduate borrowers who have been paying for at least 25 years. And students who attended institutions with low-value degrees, and others facing financial hardships.
Now, there are critics who believe that this is his way to legally buy votes, while others are defending his stance. However, many states don't think that this is a good idea because it's basically just Biden throwing the debt to someone else. The debt still needs to be paid off, and there's a 99% probability that taxpayers will be left footing that bill.
The president's attempt to cancel student loans is facing legal scrutiny. Leading the charge against the plan are Republican attorneys general from 11 states, with Kansas's top lawyer leading the effort. Chris Kobach is the Kansas Attorney General and joins us live. Mr. Attorney General, thanks for being with us here on the Hill. Appreciate it. So you led the fight, the legal fight, all the way up to the Supreme Court in round 1. You planning to sue again here?
Yeah, we already have sued again. It was 6 states that went all the way to the Supreme Court in round 1, and we prevailed in June of 2023, last summer. And now this is version 2.0 of the Biden student loan forgiveness plan, and it's equally illegal. Congress never authorized this. And of course, today he announced version 3.0 while we're challenging the second version, but all 3 are illegal. The Supreme Court clearly ruled that only Congress can do this, and there's nothing in federal statute that allows the president to do the first version. The second one is equally illegal, and we hope that the courts will enjoin this fairly quickly. You know, Congress can do this. Forgiving student loan debt is something people can debate about all day long, but it takes Congress to do it. An executive agency cannot do this unilaterally.
Now, what many continue to forget nowadays is that nothing is funded by the government. Many experts say that if they tell you that the government is paying for any sort of debt, then that receipt is just passed on to normal taxpayers like me and you. So to say that President Biden is forgiving student loans would be like him saying the taxpayers will be burdened by the debt of others. But here's what's striking here. This lawsuit is being backed by the states of Kansas, Alabama, Alaska, Idaho, Iowa, Louisiana, Montana, Nebraska, South Carolina, Texas, and Utah. But they aren't the only states that are suing the Education Department over President Biden's Save Income-Driven Repayment Student Loan Plan. 7 other states have now joined the fray. So this list includes Missouri, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, North Dakota, Ohio, and Oklahoma. Now you gotta wonder why President Biden is just so adamant to get this thing through, even though he's already been shot down by the Supreme Court. Many believe that it has a lot to do with the recent polls that show him trailing former President Donald Trump. The latest Rasmussen report shows that Trump leads Biden by around 8 points, with 49% of US voters leaning toward voting for Trump and only 41% thinking of writing down Biden. It also doesn't matter who's the third party candidate. Trump is seen as the favorite as we go down the wire for 2024. And that's why critics of the Biden administration are saying that he's basically just buying votes at this point. Now, it makes you wonder if Trump is being helped or hindered by his legal troubles outside his presidential campaign. Now, as you guys may know, he's already challenged Judge Juan Merchan to put him in jail. He's supposedly gone against his gag order multiple times by firing shots at Merchan's daughter, who many find to be a partisan Democrat. But here's the thing. This is the last thing that the Biden campaign needs. For Trump to get even more attention and further continue to leave Biden in the dust. Because the last time that Trump had his mugshot taken, he raised $7.1 million. And just recently in Florida, the Trump campaign says that they raised roughly $52 million at their high-dollar Florida fundraiser. So this probably means that President Joe Biden won't be able to call Trump broke Don anymore. This is also almost twice as much as what a recent gathering of 3 presidents in New York garnered in donations. Trump says that this support shows that more and more people want to contribute to making our nation great once again. Now, speaking of which, Donald Trump also said that there's a lot to be done with our justice system if we're talking about making America great again. He's called out the likes of DA Fani Willis, Alan Bragg, AG Attorney General Letitia James, and Special Counsel Jack Smith for alleged election interference. That's because all of them want him to be on trial before the 2024 presidential elections. Jack Smith, on his end, has repeatedly told the judge presiding over his case to hurry things along. Letitia James has recently rejected Donald Trump's recent bond of $175 million. Alan Bragg wants Trump's hush money case to go forward right now. And Fani Willis, well, Fani Willis is willing to go above and beyond just to get the former president jailed. This was very clear for most people when it leaked out that Fani Willis allegedly illegally recorded a phone call of an attorney who was working a criminal case in Maryland. So she can lie under oath, basically perjure herself, and she doesn't even get a slap on the wrist? Many are still under the impression that Willis and Wade made a ton of money and abused government funds. And this is what Donald Trump is talking about. There is a clear sign of corruption. However, no actions will be taken against them as they're attacking the former president. Do you think that all of this is proof that there is some corruption that's going on within the left? But with all that said and done, there are Democrats who argue that Donald Trump is the one who we should be blaming for the problems that America's facing right now. Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin is actually working toward a bill that would effectively remove Donald Trump from the 2024 presidential ballots. The bill would be paired with a resolution that would declare January 6th as an insurrection, which then leads them to being able to identify Trump as an insurrectionist. The problem for him, though, is that there's no way that House Speaker Mike Johnson is going to let this slip through. But what do you guys think about this? Is Donald Trump going up against some corruption here, or is he just getting what he deserves? As far as I know, I'm going to continue to bring you guys the information as it comes out. I want to thank y'all for hitting the like button. Thank you for sharing this video and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.